BMAdawg here, and welcome to the 12th quarterly episode of the Beantown Sports Hub, part of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. On the 11th anniversary of IE Sports Radio, we got a good episode for you folks. The tour heard around the world as face of the franchise, Jason Tatum is out for a long period of time. Really sad news. How does the reigning, defending 18-time NBA champions respond? You got the NFL schedule release, so you can plan all your life ahead. You also got some CONMAP colleges, Harvard men and BC women competing in the NCAA tournament. You got the CONMAP baseball teams getting ready for conference tournament play. You got one female softball team, BU Terriers, getting ready to take on the Goliath, Oklahoma. We also have a big stack show as we're going to announce the road to play at the quarter. We're going to announce a date later tonight. We got the Bruins representative announcing later, and I'll nominate 4 Boston Celtics. Don't go anywhere. Turn up the sound. It's time for the Beantown Sports Town. Woo! Welcome everybody to the 12th episode, equivalent of 1 quarter, 3 months of the Beantown Sports Fan. I'm your host, BMAdawg, and here is the match card for the evening. I want to try my best to stay positive, especially we had soul-crushing news as Boston sports fans, as we lost a lot more than just Game 4 as our face of the Boston Celtics and our beloved franchise since Tom Brady left the city of Boston. Jason Tatum torn his Achilles. He'll be out for a long period of time. We'll get through that to the main event of the evening. But your opening tonight is the Boston Red Sox to address the Devers controversy. They struggled against one of the best teams in the AL, it turns out, the Detroit Tigers. They took 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. Then we're going to have our CONMAP baseball check-in as all 3 of them, BC, Northeastern, Harvard, enter conference play to get to the College World Series qualification tournament. But one already got there in softball, and it's our lady, BU Terriers, taking on one of the best softball programs in the nation and the SEC, the Oklahoma Sooners. And then we'll take a break, and then we'll get to the red-hot revolution as can they continue their winning streak with Carl's Gill staying hot and Caleb Porter's defensive scheme. And we got your schedule release. We're going to recap each game. Not obviously recap, just take a look at all the schedule, just skim through it. I'm excited. You guys are too, to stay out of trouble with your family, your personal lives. And you've got the BC women's lacrosse team as they are going to advance to Gillette Stadium for the semifinals as they not only beat Stony Brook, turns out they defeated Yale too. We'll get into that later. And later on, we have a couple of our beloved Bruins get into the NHL quarter team. And we'll name our Bruins nominee for the play of the quarter who won the poll. You also got a date for play of the quarter I'm going to reveal later on tonight, as well as the main eventer of the evening. The Celtics are staying alive, never say die yet. Woof, as they're down 3-2 to Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. How did they do without Tatum? And who is your 4 Celtics nominees for play of the quarter? And a date after a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. Thank you very much.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much to our wonderful sponsors, including Planet Jerky, the best beef jerky in the planet. Seal the Deal Wax Sales, where you can get any deals, especially this time of year, for your communion, for your graduations coming up. Mother's Day may have passed, but Father's Day is coming up. Probably some weddings as the weather gets nicer. You also got Vital Apparel. 15% of your purchase goes towards mental health research, which is very important, as May is Mental Health Awareness Month, a big underrated aspect in our whole world and our country, because it can be very tough to express your emotions, but we're to have fun in IE Sports Radio. And most importantly, our last sponsor of the day is IE Sports Radio. You can follow us on X, YouTube, which we're live on now, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and more. It happens to be their 11th anniversary today. So happy birthday, Dial Larry and IE Sports Radio for that company. Great company. There's 30 of us that all your views help go to proceeds to keep the bills on with the sponsors as I play every episode. It's a fun time. We all love sports. We all try to cover sports that don't get noticed too much, and the big sports like the NFL, the NBA, etc. So thank you. You can also follow me as well on X on my professional page at Beantown _IESR, and my personal page where I just shoot the crap out of a lot of things and vent a lot is at capital B, capital M, capital A, capital D, Dog. You can follow me on X. And before we get started to opener, let's go into the comment center. Ricky Keller, our host of our New York State of Sports, who a few weeks back we previewed what the Knicks Celtics series, but boy, the series looks different now. He wrote, "Have a great show, BMAdawg. Should be a fun one tomorrow night." Oh, yes, it should. And Ralph Calise, the host of the Yinza Report. He's going to have his 70th episode tomorrow. He has the easiest job. He doesn't have to change his color scheme because it's all black and gold, baby. Good evening, B-Dog. Have a great show. And the man behind the production, behind making volleyball a national spectacle, it's becoming Mr. Terran Rodriguez. Good evening, Brian. Have a great show. Thank you. Thank you, Terran. Thank you, Terran, for acknowledging and taking care of everything. No problem. And let's get started for the opener tonight. And it is our Boston Red Sox, our beloved on and off. They're like a roller coaster at Six Flags. You go high, you think it's going to get off, then you go low. It's like being at an amusement park with this team. Talk about high and lows of emotions. It's like eating some of your favorite, like, drink that gives you, like mocha, that gives you terrible aftertaste effects. That's what this team's becoming. Well, they have the Green Monster. They look so good, and then they look so not. They took 2 out of 3 from the Kansas City Royals, who made the playoffs last year, and then Hunter Dobbins was amazing in that series, striking out at least 5, and he got the superstar shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., holding him hitless in that game. These guys, they may have lost one, but they took the next 2 games. But the biggest story before what happened at Game 4 of the NBA semifinals, which I'm going to get into later, they had a Rafael Devers is under a lot of controversy again. As you guys know, there was another big injury before Tatum a few weeks back. Was first baseman Tristan Casas went down with a brutal leg injury, and he's most likely going to be out for the season. And Walker Buehler may have injured his arm, but thank God we're going to get him back in the rotation starting in this Mets series, because we really need him back, folks. As the real controversy, not so much Casas getting hurt, is you guys know I talked about it all spring training long in my very first month worth of episodes with the Sox, is that Rafael Devers is under controversy because, you know, we signed former World Series winner and Gold Glove and Silver Slugger Alex Bregman to the team. His primary base is third base, and Devers for a long time was third base with the Red Sox, even when Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts was in the Green Monster. Anyways, he was not happy to be moved to DH, but I personally don't think that should be an issue. Look at what happened to David Ortiz when they moved him from first base. The rest was history as a DH. I believe Devers should just He gets paid a whole ton of money. He should just be able to move positions, no problem. It's not like he's making a 50K, 40-hour a week job like some of us do and grind. He should just go with the flow. Be where your team needs you to be. I understand his concern against our management and to say go hire someone to catch first base, but you're a player. You get paid a lot of money. You should just be able to do what's best for the team. I know it's easy to say. So he's like, what do they expect me to play any position? Yeah, obviously you wouldn't see a quarterback go to a lineman or a lineman become a running back. But they're not going to move him to the outfield. The outfield is pretty good, especially that amazing alley hoop catch we usually see in basketball between Abreu to rob a home run and CD and Rafael caught it. Those guys are amazing outfielders, and I know Rob Rice fan is hurt for the Red Sox. He was a good designated guy that if Abreu needed time off, Jaron Duran or Rafaela, he could just hop in there. You got Noro, who's been doing pretty decent, but our big problem is we lead the American League in errors right now, as we have the most errors in the whole league. As believe it or not, we are struggling. We're 22 and 23 for the year. We're behind the Toronto Blue Jays, who is very even at 21 and 21, and the Yankees are in first place, but not by a whole lot. It is time for this team to play catch up, but it's going to be very tough, especially when the bullpen blew two really close games against Detroit Tigers, which one should have won, especially when Slayton gave up a home run right when Christian Campbell was grabbing a home run, went down 7-6 at game 2 against Detroit. Javier Baez, who's becoming a phenomenal face of Detroit, hit a clutch home run similar to what Big Papi used to do for us in the Red Sox, similar to what Trevor Story did a few weeks back around Marathon Monday week. He lifted the Tigers to almost a sweep, as ironically teams like the Lions and Tigers are become top of Detroit. Who would have thought that 15 years ago? Oof. But we got to win these close games. It's just like last year where our bullpen's been blowing it for us, except last night, Adolis Chapman did give up a terrible run. But he's been phenomenal all season long as our closer. I noticed he's been pitching a lot of games past the 9th inning because the bullpen hasn't gotten him there. One guy who's been really, really disappointed in the Red Sox this year, for me personally, is Tanner Hoke. He was supposed to be a second starter. You can't be blowing. I don't know if he might have won one start, but he gave up, 9 runs in 2 innings? And Sean Newcomb, who's from a Boston native, he didn't do that great at the beginning of the year, but I think he's really good as a reliever. He went 5 innings and didn't give up any runs to the Tigers in that second game. He did carry that team. Okay, but Bregman's been amazing. Him and Wilyer Abreu are tied with the Red Sox and top in the American League in home runs with at least 9 apiece. And you got Bregman leading in RBIs. You got Christian Campbell, who's been playing pretty good. Obviously, he doesn't have the greatest games every day. I know people like to bash on Trevor Story, but he's been doing really well for us this year. But the team, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to wrap up the Red Sox. So as the season goes on, I'll get better and better coverage. But we have a tough homestand coming up. We got a matchup of the ages tomorrow as Garrett Crochet takes on Chris Sale, the former guy who I swear the insurance companies paid him because the last 2 years he barely played for the Red Sox. But he was a Cy Young winner and hit lights out last year again for the Braves, striking out a ton. As that NL East division is a really tough division. You got the Phillies doing really well, and you got Matt Olson leading this team and Austin Riley, who are phenomenal batters. I'm looking forward to that pitching duel Friday. It stinks it's going up against Game 6 for the Celtics and Knicks, but that's a phenomenal pitching matchup. And don't forget, Monday through Wednesday, we're going to get Bueller back most likely. He's been phenomenal before he got injured, as he has a great changeup. They take on the New York Mets, who are the top dogs in the NL. Beside, everyone knows the Dodgers are the toughest, but with Shohei Ohtani. But don't forget, Juan Soto left the Yankees to go right to the other side of Long Island in New York, as he hasn't had the greatest season. but they got Polar Bear Pete Alonso, who's a phenomenal hitter, and you got Francisco Lindor, who's great, as well as Brandon Nino. So that's going to be really tough for this bullpen, as Justin Slayton has to get better if he wants to be a good setup man to Chapman, so he doesn't have to play. But before I stop talking about the Red Sox, I'm going to get more into them next week, as I'm going to do play of the quarter a little differently for them. As you know, 162 games, it's hard to evaluate. So next week, I'm going to nominate 4 pitchers. And the week after, I'm going to nominate 4 batters. And then 2 weeks before, once I announce the date, you'll understand why. I'm going to have another poll of the winner of the batter will face the winner of the pitcher for the last spot in player of the quarter. It's going to be so exciting as I keep having guys, the batting field especially. I keep rotating guys. Should I include this guy? Should I not? But the pitchers are pretty easy for me to nominate. There is one guarantee I'll spoil for you guys now. Garrett Crochet is definitely going to be one of those pitcher nominees. The other 3, I have a pretty good idea. But he's been outstanding. They finally gave him run support. He struck out 9 in Kansas City. That's one of the best offseason acquisitions we had besides Bregman. I cannot wait to see how more of this guy evolves. I hope he does well tomorrow night against the Braves, as they're going to need it, as the New York Yankees are leading the league in batting average. Even though the Mets' bats have cooled down, but you still got Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt leading the Yankees, and you've got George Springer and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. killing it for the Blue Jays, even though the pitching isn't the greatest. But I'll go to the comment section before we go on to our ComAv colleges. So Rick Keller wrote, Devers needs to get over it that Cora got his guy to play third base. Even if Devers was bad at first base, people wouldn't blame him for trying a new position. Absolutely. Bingo. New York State of Sports, Ricky Keller. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. Part of me doesn't, as we did preview Celtics and Knicks. Check it out, even though it's a whole different series right now. And neither one of us, whether you're a Boston or New York fan, could anticipate what was coming. As thank you, Ricky, for commenting, as you are absolutely right. And just to clarify, IE Sports Radio gets sponsors from Planet Jerky, Seal the Deal Wax Seal, Vital Apparel, and other sponsors as well, because they're not a sponsor. They're a great company. So thank you for clarifying that for me. But let's go to our ComAv colleges, folks, as they are getting ready pretty soon. As one team is red hot, the other team is floating in the middle, and another team started off really slow and is starting to cruise their way for and got a conference playoff qualification to get an automatic bid. Let's start off with the red-hot Northeastern Huskies. They just defeated UConn the other day, 7-1 in the Battle of the Huskies. They have won 22 games in a row, one of the best pitching staffs in the nation. But when they played the Huskies, they defeated them 7-1. They scored in 4 different innings, including a 3-run ninth to put the game away, while receiving a dominant pitching performance from their starter, Max Gittin, who was 8-1 this year. You had reliever Jack Barley, and you got Chris Walsh and Cam Molando for the batters, drove in a pair of runs to lead the Northeastern offense, which collected 10 hits in that victory from the game I watched. They had the most in-nation shutouts. They look to win their first NCAA tournament game since 1974 in a few weeks, and they have a team ERA of 22.99, one of the best in the whole country, as they are really good. And they finally got into the top 25 college baseball poll, as they get the respect they deserve. They are the Conference Athletic Association champions, so good luck to them. And the other ComAv colleges in the ACC, the Boston College Eagles, they're on and off this year. They're 25-26. They're 10-17, and they're 15th in the ACC. You don't want to be below the 16th, as the California Golden Bears, who they're playing this weekend in the final regular season matchup, they are in the bottom of the ACC, as you want to be top 16 out of 18 or 20 teams, because the 16 teams, the first 4 teams, I think, get a bye. They have a round robin tournament in North Carolina, and they're going to have to try to get going. They're going to have to win a bunch of games in a row in order to get, hopefully they get 2 out of 3 from the Bears so they can move up their standings, because they have to win 4 or 5 games to have a miracle shot at the top of the ACC. But their last appearance was against UMass Lowell, who they defeated 5-0 with 8 hits. Brady Miller fires a 5-inning shutout with over 8 strikeouts, which was an amazing performance. And Patrick Roach has been amazing all year as he grabbed the bases loaded ground out in the top of the 9th, but he drove in 2 runs anyways with a sac fly earlier. He's been great all year. And Brady Miller improved to 4-1 in his freshman campaign after 2 strikeouts with 5 scoreless innings. As the other team we're going to talk about is the Harvard Crimson, who started off really slow. They're 12-26 for the year, 9-12 in the Ivy League, but only 4 Ivy League teams qualify for the play-in tournament to try and get an automatic bid in the NCAA College World Series tournament. So they did qualify for that. They are going to take on their top leader and arch rival Yale Bulldogs in the Ivy League semifinals tomorrow. So that is going to be exciting, folks, for our ComAv colleges. I cannot wait to see what they're capable of. And Rick Keller also commented, talked about Northeastern the other day. Their pitching is very good. Yeah, they are. And thank you for covering that. As you know, Ricky not only runs New York State of Sports, they have a phenomenal baseball show too on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock with the guy who runs DC, Mike Pratt. And you also have Alden Kay of Arizona Sports Show covering as they go over not only MLB, the colleges as well. And we're going to need to talk about the colleges a little more because there is a Cinderella team in the softball division, folks, that we're going to get into right now. And it is the Boston University Terriers. Congratulations to them as they won the Patriot League championship. And they have a big test ahead of them, folks. That is right. They have a big test as they went 39-17 for the season, 14-4 around the Patriot League. They defeated Army in the Patriot League Finals 3-2 to grab their 17th career championship. Freshman Daniel Noel pitched 7 consecutive scoreless innings, but Defensive Player of the Year and clutch player Brooke Despisey grabbed a clutch 3-2 win over the Army in the bottom night. She also has a .49 batting average, the highest of the team, as well as 14 stolen bases, while sophomore Kylie Dorothy is the best slugger with 13 home runs and 16 RBIs. Megan Colts leads the team in on-base percentage and RBI with 56. Casey Richard and freshman Danica Nail leads the team in pitching with 227 strikeouts for her, and Nail in second in strikeouts with 69 and only 26 earned runs given up. They will need all the luck they can get. As a selection show, they know it's going to be a challenge. And one Oklahoma native likes to say, a slobber knocker, as their opponent natives say, as they take on the number 2 team and 3 out of the 4 College World Series winners, the Oklahoma Sooners. So these ladies are playing tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPNU. Good to check them out, folks. It will be a real fun time, and hopefully they make that up, the upset of the evening. I cannot wait to see what they're capable of, as we're going to talk about the Harvard men's lacrosse team, as they are just like our female counterparts. The BC women's lacrosse team plays later on. We're going to talk about them later on tonight, too. There was a men's team representing the ComAv colleges. Is the Harvard men's lacrosse, which was 10-5 for the year, 4-2. They did lose to Princeton in the NCAA tournament. Not the NCAA tournament, my bad. The Ivy League tournament, but they were good all year. They were one of the bubble teams to get in at the last second as they took on the Syracuse Orange, which was Mother's Day's a busy day for all of us, folks, but it was really busy from a lacrosse standpoint because both our teams were in action as well, and they were on ESPNU. They came into the game against Syracuse with first-team All-American honors for the first time since the 1962 season, which include Sam King and Logan LP. Well-deserved for Sam King, which had 37 goals of the year with 26 assists for 66 points of the year. Logan LP had 23 goals and 15 assists all year. So there's a bunch of momentum going into this game for the Crimson, as they were a bubble team, as they were the last ones in, as they went into the Dome to take on the Orange. The game started off 3-0 in the first quarter, with Teddy Malone winning the faceoff to grab the first goal of the tournament. Then who else but Sam King to get a wonderful assist by goalkeeper Graham Stevens. Then John Ardernaut made it 3-0 with a goal. The first quarter ended with a 3-1 lead. The second quarter was amazing for the Crimson, with the game being up 7-1 with Logan LP and Jack Spinell contributing the 8-2 lead at halftime. Syracuse did cut the lead to 8-5 as they were getting in the head of Graham. After Jack Spinell's hat trick, Harvard got a costly penalty on Owen Guest cross-check and to ignite the flame of the vitamin C Orange, as you do need your vitamins, and Orange has plenty of it. And they ended up turning a Crimson 11-5 lead into their own lead with 12-11 with 3:32 left in the game, as Graham Stevens made up for it with a huge assist to give Owen Gaffney the game-tying goal with 12 seconds left to send the game in overtime. Harvard played a great game despite losing in the face-off battle 25-4, including losing the opening face-off to the Orange. And that's all, folks. Within 12 seconds, the Orange did score, sending Harvard out, as they have a bright spot to move forward as they're getting a lot of these guys back. I know Sam King's a senior and will be graduating, but they have a lot of great attackers and midfielders as they look to build momentum for the future, along with Boston University as our men's ComAv representatives for us. But we are going to take a commercial break, folks, as we're going to go take our talents to one Patriot place, as we got the Red Hot Revs. Can they stay hot? You also have the Patriot schedule release. Woo!
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph DeLeese, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold, and have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph DeLeese, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
All right, everyone. Welcome back to our 12th episode of the Beantown Sports Pound. My two drops, Chi-Town Weekly, Adam Karnick. He goes over all the Chicago sports. He also runs a hockey show, The Neutral Zone. They were in immediate of a co-host as their other co-host couldn't make it, so I jumped in. So catch this episode on past Tuesday as we talk playoff hockey action. And I'm also going to talk the stuff I'm going to talk about later when it comes to the Bruins, as Ralph Calise is a IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer, perfect for the 11th anniversary. The Yinzer Report every Friday night. He does a great job going over Penguins, Steelers, and Pirates news. He always finds ways to entertain, do his investigations. He's a great guy all around. So give him your support, please. And now we're going to talk about the red-hot New England Revolution. We are on one Patriot Places. And momentarily, we're going to talk about the news we've been waiting for months, the schedule, as they are 5-4-2, 10th in the MLS Eastern Conference. They just had a game in the U.S. Open, Clark Hunt Cup, which is the family owns the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. And how ironic, their next road game next week, they're home against the San Jose Earthquakes, are at the Sports of Kansas City is their name, and they are team that we're going to play. It's kind of funny how they call it Sport in Kansas City. Of course, Kelsey, Mahomes, the Swifties all sport Kansas City, but we're here to talk about the Revs, and they had a great matchup close against one of the uprising minor sports in all of New England, the Rhode Island Football Club. They built a brand new state-of-the-art sports soccer facility, similar to what's going to happen in Brighton for the NWSL team. They're going to start next year. I can't wait to cover that too, along with the Revolution. We'll get men's and women's soccer in 2026. So hopefully what's happening with Rhode Island can happen with that women's team. Hopefully they do real good with the renovations in Brighton. It will be nice to see. As the Revolution are red hot, they came in winning 4 in a row. But here's a quick recap. But Orlando City Martin Oja did score a hat trick in that game. He scored 2 goals in 33 minutes to give them a 2-0 lead, but the Revolution did rally to tie it with Alassian Youssef scoring his first MLS goal, and Matt Polster assisting with that too, which they all are starting to rise with Carlos Gill finding the field open for these strikers and midfielders to try to attack, as Aljaz Ivanchik has had 3 consecutive shutout games, or clean sheet games, as they call them. He's been amazing for the Revs all year long, as the defense has been really good with Brandon By leading the pack. He's been amazing for that team, and Brian Celios too, as those guys are getting very physical and they're getting really fun to watch. But the 55th minute grabbed Orlando City SC to get, but who else but Charles Gill getting a penalty kick in the 85th minute to get a 3-3 tie for the Revolution. But Ivanchik made 5 saves in this game to secure a point for the Revs. The last draw or clean sheet game, as they call it in soccer, took place all the way in week 1 against Nashville SC, as they started as it was a scoreless game to start the year, as the Revs really did struggle with scoring for the first month or so. People were calling of Caleb Porter to get fired in Foxborough. I'm glad they stuck it with him, and Gill did too, as his team's re-neutralized. They very physical like his defensive counterparts, and he said you live and die on your defense, and that's something you got to think of. You know the quote they say, defense wins championships. They're going to really need to keep that if they want to get ahead, because the 9th and 8th teams in the MLS is both New York teams, as Ricky's been commenting all night, and he covers those 2 teams very well too, as we're going to have to go through them because they do like the NBA does, except for the 9th and 8th place team in each conference in the MLS. They play each other. But also, Alay Feingold had a great game. He registered his first 2 MLS assists of the season, setting up both goals. And don't forget, Carlos Gill had a club record for regular season assists with 75. Their next game will be at home against the San Jose Earthquakes this weekend, Saturday night at 7:30. It is going to be a great game to watch, as the Revolution have been unbeaten in their last 5 games with 4-0-1. And Carlos Gill, he's a reason why he won Player of the Week last week and our Player of the Quarter nominee, as he's going to have to try and upset 3 other mainstream Boston athletes to try to win the inaugural Player of the Quarter. That was he had 2 penalty kicks this year, but you also got Alonzo Youssef, who scored his first goal. And Polster got the second goal, which is his 10th career goal, but first of the year. I cannot wait to see more of this team, and it's going to be exciting as the Rebs look really good right now. I cannot wait to see how they progress in the season. Hopefully they get a top 4 conference spot, but obviously you want a top 8 spot, just like how the NHL used to do it, and the NBA still does it, even though they have the play-in. You want to avoid that at all costs in soccer, because they also have a U.S. Open second-round match in a few weeks as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting, as they made round 32 after defeating last Wednesday night. We covered it live in the main event with the Rhode Island Football Club, as there's been a lot of energy as soccer is growing, southeastern New England especially, where Foxborough is, and they're talking about building next to Encore and Everett a brand new soccer-specific stadium. So that's going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to see the Revs. I'm happy with their performance. I can't wait to watch more of them, as it's the moment you've all been waiting for, folks. Whether you love us or hate us, because you hate us because you ain't us, even though the last 2 years have been horrid, the NFL schedule release came out last night. Absolutely, I am excited, as you are all 32 teams, as you got to try to avoid family gatherings, try to schedule your lives around these 18 games, or maybe 10 if they start to suck like Gerard Mayo's team did last year. But I am so excited to cover some football in the spring, even though we got summer coming up. Our home opener is Sunday, September 7th, against the Las Vegas Raiders, whose stadium I was just in a few weeks ago for WrestleMania 41. Beautiful stadium. That would be a nice road game to go to, even though we've it's been like a little house of horrors in New England. But Jacoby Myers is on that team. Hopefully he makes a stupid lateral play to Geno Smith and we pass rush. And Tom Brady will probably not be calling this game, as this game is designated for CBS at 1 o'clock in a lead regional time, I would assume, as it's his first look at Austin Genty, the running back they drafted from Boise State, as it's Will Campbell's debut too, and Mike Vrabel's coaching debut against Pete Carroll, who got hired for the Raiders. It's going to be interesting how this game looks, but thankfully, I know people are going to disagree with me because of the hot weather. Next week, they go to Miami, first road game against Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill in the game, who are known to defeat us. Even when Brady was playing, we have a bad house of horrors in Miami, as it's going to be wicked hot, but at least we get that loss out of the way. Then we're home the next 2 against Pittsburgh. We don't know who's quarterback in that team. Hopefully Ralph provides us an update on Friday. And you got the Carolina Panthers, as they look to be a lot better, as the NFC South is one of the both AFC and NFC Souths are one of the most lowest rated teams in all of football. One's on Fox, one's on CBS. And they got a primetime slot, as we signed Stephon Diggs, as they take on the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football, which should be Josh Allen under the lights. That will be a tough game, as he does have Dalton Kincaid. Can Keenan Coleman step up as the wide receiver number 1 for the Bills, and Damar Hamlin will be back to full strength, as he was in full strength last year. And the weirdest schedule thing I saw was the next week they play 4:30 against the Saints. Why would that game be at 4:30? There's plenty of games that could have been 4:30. I'm not going to complain about 4:30 game, but Kamara's on his way to declining. They got Chris Olave, and the Saints are also looking for a quarterback, as David Carr did retire, if you heard the news, folks. And they go to Tennessee, as Drake May had a great fourth quarter touchdown pass to lead that game, rematch in overtime against Mike Vrabel's old team, who Tom Brady's last game was against, and they don't have Derrick Henry this time, but they did draft Cam Ward. It'd be interesting how he looks in my Tennessee Titan uniform. And October 26th, they're home against the most laughingstock franchises in NFL history, with quarterbacks as much list as a CVS receipt. You got the Cleveland Browns. Shador went all the way to the 5th round. Will they have Joe Flacco starting? Deshaun Watson still on the roster. Will he be starting? Well, Kenny Pickett, who actually threw a touchdown pass in garbage time in the Super Bowl. And then next week, rematch of Atlanta Falcons, the 28-3 comeback with no notable players from that game. Will be facing the Atlanta Falcons as Ray Phoenix versus Drake May, both first-round quarterback. I'm excited to see, and you've got Bijan Robinson too, how they are going to look. But the next week, I'm hoping to make this trip out. Uncle lives in that area. We go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and hopefully Tom Brady calls that game. It'd be very interesting because he won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. You still got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, who Chris Godwin did re-sign with the Bucs. You got Baker Mayfield, and you got the rise of Bucky Irvin, who's been amazing for fantasy sleepers last year. This will be a tough game as the everyone always thinks they're going to fall apart, but they always compete for a playoff spot. And you got Thursday Night Football, which I think is a waste of time, except the Thanksgiving triple header against the New York Jets with Justin Fields. You still got Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, so that could be a tough one. But they're the Jets. They're a joke. You also have the Cincinnati Bengals, which is a scary time. Too bad they didn't play them opening day. We could have had the number 1 pick because the Bengals start off slow. You got the high-flying Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I am looking forward to see that game. That's going to be awesome to talk about right there. And you got the Monday night matchup against, it's funny, all their primetime matchups against either teams in New York or have the New York logo on, the New York Giants. As this, people are criticizing being on ESPN Monday Night Football, perfect opportunity for a Manning cast, as Eli did, as we all know so well, 1-2 Super Bowls with the Giants. But you got Abdul Carter coming here. You got Will Campbell playing in the game. Picks 3 and 4. And hopefully this game isn't a game to decide who gets a better pick as it was 2 years ago. And that landed Drake May. It landed them Malik Neighbors, even though, and they got Tyrone Tracy as their running back. He's no Saquon Barkley. Absolutely not. But then they're back home after a week bye against Josh Allen in an afternoon game. Let's see how far the Patriots look. Are they in tank mode or are they competing for a playoff spot? But they have a tough stretch to end the season because December 21st, they play the Baltimore Ravens, which Lamar Jackson is going to hopefully he's going to try and take on the Chiefs with Derrick Henry and Buffalo Bills for home field advantage for AFC seeding. So, and the Ravens have an amazing defense. So that's going to be a really tough game. Hopefully Mark Andrews can slip a ball out for us like he did against Buffalo. You got the Jets again, as I just described. And week 18, we end at home against Miami. Hopefully it's not like last year where neither team has anything to play for and we root for the other team to lose to get a better draft pick. I hope it doesn't come to that, folks. As we'll hop in on. Terrence said Tom Brady is on Fox, not CBS. But Pat's Raiders is going to get one of the low crews. You never know because, they probably are because they do have the doubleheader week. But it's too bad they aren't on Fox because Brady could cover that. He probably won't be able to. But CBS does have the doubleheader. I took a look. Packers Lions is the Crossflex 4:30 game. I already took a look at that. Can't wait for football season, folks. As you got a big game on Thanksgiving with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cowboys. Usually people watch no matter who the teams are playing, the Lions, the Cowboys, Bears, oh my. But you got a lot of the schedule release was crazy because they announced a lot of Eagles games. If you're an Eagles fan, you didn't even need to watch the schedule release as a quarter of their games was already called. You got a lot of Chiefs games at 4:30 at primetime, Cowboys, now the Commanders, but the Patriots don't have a lot of 4:30 games, which really sucks about them not being competitive, as my favorite time slot to watch the Patriots is 4:30. To go to, it's 1 o'clock. I am excited to see what they can do. And one last Patriots news before we move on to our ComAv college team, the BC Eagles. As speaking of Gillette, it's perfect timing. I scheduled the Revs and Pats together, as I'll explain shortly. Breaking news, Christian Barrymore has been cleared to play after having a lot of blood clots last year, as he was a big part of missing on this defense last year. But we did get Milton Williams from the Eagles, Robert Spillane from the Raiders, as it will be a revenge game for him on opening day. I am so excited to see what comes out. And this is a team that doesn't get a lot of mainstream coverage that I'm going to talk about right now. And they are going to be at the home of the New England Patriots and New England Revolution, as we had great news coming out of Newton today, as the Boston College women's lacrosse team, one of the best programs in the whole nation, is awesome. They are 23-2 for the year, 8-2 in the ACC. They took on, and they had a first round bye. They took on Stony Brook on Mother's Day. It was a great game to watch, as this is a phenomenal team, as they have 8 All-American nominated players. One of their only 2 losses were to the best teams in the whole country, when it was the North Carolina Tar Heels. These ladies are incredible, to say the least, with only 2 of their losses coming to the top-ranked North Carolina Tar Heel. They are led by Rachel Clark, who got a 300th career goal in BC the other day. And Emma Lepento's been amazing. She gets a lot of goals and a lot of assists. And Shea Dulce, when she has a .500 save percentage or more, they win most of their games. The Eagles started off hot in this game with Lepinto scoring the first 2 goals. Then Rachel Clark gets a 300 career goal, with Brooke McElroy getting the assist. McKenna Davis assisted the next 2 goals with Kylie Colbert and Mia Maschione. Then Pinto with a hat trick to give the Eagles a 6-0 lead. Stony Brook bounced back with 2 on Dulce, but Devin Russell scored an amazing buzzer beater in the first half to give the Eagles a 7-2 lead. Stony Brook was getting more aggressive, but the Eagles stars came through to shut this out at Alumni Stadium, as they came away with a 10-7 lead. Congratulations to the ladies, as they moved on to play the Yale Bulldogs to get to the semifinals in Gillette Stadium. Congratulations to them on a well-done Mother's Day victory. They're a phenomenal team, as they go to face Yale today. And they ended up, breaking news, they won that game 18-11 today. I will get a full recap of this next week, as I'll get to rewatch it, but I will try to take the ride down to Gillette and go watch them. My first ever college attendance. Besides, I did see BC play Denver for the men's hockey side, but I like to go show support for the ladies lacrosse, as they made the 8th consecutive Final Four or semifinals appearance, as both men's and women's lacrosse NCAA semifinals and finals are in Gillette Stadium. Men's are Thursday, Saturday. Women's are Friday, Sunday, as I'm looking forward to go seeing them, as they are a phenomenal team. Rachel Clark's a senior, one of the best players in this whole nation. Emma Lepinto, too. McKenna Davis has led the team in assists, too, with over 70. But Rachel Clark broke the record as all-time BC Eagles lacrosse leading goal scorer, as it will be an exciting time to watch. Let's see who they play. They play the winner of Northwestern, and the team they play is Penn State, I believe. So those 2 teams play each other. Let's see. They take on next Friday, so it'll give me plenty of time to watch this game. I have it recorded against Yale, so I can't wait to cover this game in its entirety, so I have a better recap. And if they're not playing, perfect time for a segment next week, as I covered the first game today against Stony Brook, and the game against Yale was outstanding from what I've heard. So congratulations to those ladies, as they look forward to getting through and winning a championship at Gillette Stadium, as they lost the championship last year to the team they only had 2 losses against this year, the North Carolina Tar Heels, who is one of the best teams in not only ACC, this whole nation, as it is phenomenal. We are going to have one last commercial break before we get on the road to Player of the Quarter. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for tuning in.
ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy Dentarius Locke.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you again. The two infomercial fast break every Sunday night at 8 o'clock as they go forward. All of the NBA, they covered a lot of March Madness, and they'll cover a lot of WNBA coming soon, especially since we're going to talk about the Celtics in the main event of the evening. But before we get there, we have a very important co-headline topic as we're going to talk about the Boston Bruins. Is also news, but before I talk about the Bruins news, I want to announce I did a poll for Player of the Quarter. Who's joining Carl Gill as the Bruins representative in the Player of the Quarter? Your options was Dark Horse Nikita Zadorov. You had Morgan Geekie, who had 30 goals this year. You also had Casey Middlestat, who did the best out of all the people we got from the trade deadline. And, of course, the face of the Boston Bruins now with Brad Marchand outscoring game-winning goals against the Toronto Maple Leafs is David Pastrnak. And the winner is David Pastrnak is going to join Charles Gill as we got two out of our four nominees settled for Player of the Quarter. And breaking news, people, we have a date set for Player of the Quarter. Our date is going to be, it's going to be a fun time. So keep the date, folks. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing as I'm looking forward to see what I can show for you guys. The date's going to be Saturday, June 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern. We are going to have our Play of the Quarter special. We're going to go over our four nominees. I'm going to give a case why this person should win it, shouldn't win her, and you'll get our experts from each subject as IE Sports Radio. We have soccer show, hockey show, basketball, and baseball as we're going to give our thoughts on each player. We're going to go in depth of not only their career, my favorite games from each of them this year, and going forward what they could do, because I try to look for the best average performance I try to have the people vote on how they did within the past 2 months since my first episode. But speaking of quarter, the NHL released their quarter of the century team from 2000 to 2005 present. We have 2 Bruins representatives, legendary defenseman Zdeno Chara, and our beloved former captain who had his career cut short in the wrong way possible, Patrice Bergeron. It's great news. I am happy to hear about them because they are well-deserved of this award. They are well-deserved to make it to the quarter of team. Obviously, Tim Thomas or Tuukka Rask didn't make it in terms of goaltenders, even though the likes of Patrick Roy, Martin Brodeur, Marc-Andre Fleury, who actually just finished his last year with the Wild this year, are part of the goalie. No, I wish one of them got in because Tuukka Rask is a former Vezina winner. People who watch Game 6 will probably think otherwise. That, as me and Adam talked about on the hockey show the other night, about that Game 6 between the Blackhawks and Bruins. Speaking of Teos and Kane did make that list too. Well-deserved for them. But Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin obviously made it, which was really great to hear, as they are well-deserved, as they're still playing, especially Alex Ovechkin is still playing in the playoffs. But the NHL playoffs have been a lot of fun, especially a few Game 7s. We all thought Jim Montgomery was going to take the St. Louis Blues to a surprise in Western Conference appearance because Jim Montgomery was fired in November from the Boston Bruins as a scapegoat for Sweeney's failures to draft talent, as he lost a heartbreaking Game 7, went up 3-1 against the Winnipeg Jets a few weeks ago, who isn't looking that much better. Kyle Connor and Halyachuk in the gang aren't looking that much better against the Dallas Stars with Jason Robinson and former Bruin Maturin Tyler Seguin down in Dallas. You also have a big series involved the Bruins with Brad Marchand now on the Florida Panthers against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who the Panthers have been leading 3-2, including him getting a game-winning goal against no-show Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and the gang of the Toronto Maple Leafs, which the Florida Panthers have embraced Marchand. People aren't bashing him ever since he got traded. They're throwing rats on the ice, kind of like Detroit used to throw the octopus, as it's tough to see. But the bright spot is if Florida gets far and they play either the Oilers or the Stars or Jets, that will be a great series to watch. And the Bruins benefit from that, as they have a second-round pick in 2027 or 8, I believe, from the Panthers. If Brad Marchand leads them to the Cup, it becomes a first-round pick, as we need a bunch of top picks as possible. There's Michael Misa, there's BC center James Hagan, as we need a center on this Bruins team. Let's just face it. Ever since Patrice Bergeron left, they left the void. They've been losing a lot of face-off. Pavel Zacha isn't a top-line center. I can't stress it enough. He trips on his own puck. He fails to generate plays for Pasta and Geeky. A lot of people don't realize how good Geeky was because the Bruins were on a decline in the locker room too, as it led to a lot of trades and shake up the whole roster. So hopefully they're a lot better next year. And speaking of heartbreak about Patrice Bergeron, about how he ended in Florida, that's a well-deserved, because he deserves to make that tournament, to make that list for NHL. There's no other deserving person on the play. Obviously, Crosby, Ovechkin, and McDavid and Stamkos, they're well-deserved too. Don't get me wrong, but speaking of heartbreak, the moment you've all been waiting for, folks, in the worst way possible. My views on not only our reigning, defending 18-time champions, we live another day to cover another series. Yes, we do, but at a cost. Not only did we lose Game 4, we lost our beloved centerpiece and all Celtics, all Boston, Jason Tatum, with his torn Achilles. That was brutal to watch on TV, as he suffered a really bad injury and the likes. That Kobe Bryant did have that injury, and Kobe, the late great Kobe Bryant, was Jason Tatum's idol. So let's see how fast he can recover. Hopefully he comes back after this year, and because let's face it, Tatum's injury is so brutal that it's going to lead to him being out at least halfway of the season, because it takes at least 8 months to 12 months to recover from an Achilles tear. He could miss all 2026. That's so scary to be without your top player for not only the rest of the playoff, but it goes into next season as well. We shouldn't even be thinking about next year. Ever since that brutal injury, you had people on the internet speculating on Giannis comes here. Are they getting rid of Brown? Are they getting rid of Porzingis? Just finish the season. As in Game 5, they looked phenomenal last night. But let's go and recap the Celtics and Joe Mazzulla, as it's just like Belichick used to say, do your job, next man up. We also got Joe Mazzulla hopefully taking part in that mindset too, as it is time for the Celtics to move on without Jason Tatum, as believe it or not, they played without him a lot this season, as the Celtics have been battling injuries all year. As a starting five from opening night, Derek Wright, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum have only played in like 10 to 15, maybe including the playoffs, games together as a starting unit all season long. So they used to playing with a guy getting injured. And Tatum's a phenomenal point, scoring 42 points before he got injured the other night. Don't get me wrong, that's impressive, but the team with Tatum only likes to shoot threes. And you've got Jalen Brunson, who not only carries the Knicks, you have other guys like OG stepping up, Mikal Bridges stepping up, Josh Hart for the Knicks. Obviously, they got Carl Anthony Towns from Minnesota, who's doing just fine without him, as Anthony Edwards in the game go without a Stephon Curry. Just like we lose Tatum, the Warriors don't know how to play without Curry. And they traded with the Heat for Jimmy Butler, who was kryptonite for the Celtics all these past 5 years until this year. So they couldn't win without him. And Anthony Edwards is taking the Timberwolves to another Western Conference final, this time without Cat. But he looks to go to the Eastern Conference Finals with the New York Knicks. That's the whole reason why they got him, even though the Celtics won all 4 regular season games against the Knicks. You got the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Haliburton in the game. The man's phenomenal, leads the league with a 6. He won Rookie of the Year a few years back, I believe. This guy is phenomenal. Mike Conley Jr. in the Pacers, and Big Mike of Indie Sports Nation is waiting for the winner of this game, as they're getting plenty of rest, as the Cavaliers had a bunch of injury problems with Evan Mobley. They had Donovan Mitchell, who's been phenomenal for them this year, as the Pacers beat the Cavs in 5 games. Thankfully, we didn't go 5 games. Thankfully, we won last night. But I'm here to do 3 games recap, as I said, as I moved the show this week due to personal and work commitment. Saturday, they won 115-93, which Tatum did play almost 4 of those games, but he had 22 points. Peyton Pritchard had a phenomenal game, 23 points in that, as he stepped up from the bench big time, as he hasn't done well in many postseason games this year compared to the regular season, where him and Derek White, without Tatum and Brown, one regular season game, had 40-plus points games, and they broke the record for 2 guys to score 40-plus games in the NBA in Celtics history. That was an amazing record, as Porzingis blocked a lot, but he didn't do that well that game, but they didn't need to. The Celtics were up 31, as they did blow 2 20-point leads in game 1 and 2, especially as Jalen Brunson was untouchable at the Garden. But he also led in game 3 in 27 points. As I told Ricky, if you remember my preview a few weeks back, that if we can hold Jalen Brunson to only scoring and the other guys besides Cat not scoring more than 10, Celtics can win. And what they did there, they held Mikal Bridges to 12 points. Karl Anthony Towns is an automatic double-double guy. He had 21 points and 15 rebounds in this game. As Brunson also, he's a great shooter, but he also can give bench players a chance to succeed. And he didn't get to do that game, as Josh Hart was guarded a lot by Porzingis, as Tatum did have a lot of steals game 4, but Porzingis did do well defensively with 3 blocks, even though he hasn't been doing great offensively in this series. Al Horford was a big part in this game 3, as before Tatum's injury, a lot of these guys, besides Pritchard didn't get a chance to show off their skills by the bench, as the Celtics did win this game 115-93. We all go into this feeling so great about the Boston Celtics. As they got one, they were down 2-1. They looked like they should be able to win game 4, right? Wrong on that part again. As Big Al did get the start over Porzingis in this game as he was battling an injury, so they made the shift to have him come off the bench. And Tatum did get the first rebound, and Derek White was phenomenal in this first half, shooting his first three-point attempts, but Cat did get a slam dunk, and Tatum got a steal out. The Celtics went up 8-2 after White drained his second three, while White got 9 out of the first 11 points in that game 4. Tatum had a few steals, but OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges got the most out of Knicks points in the first quarter. But Bronson did make a 3 at the end to get an 8-0 run for the Knicks, as he's been known to carry the team like Tatum is for Boston. Brown did get 2 fouls thanks to Josh Hart getting hit in the face by him. But Tatum did hit back-to-back threes to get rid of the lead changes. Then Pritchard hit the 8th 3 for a 9-0 run, and then Tatum made a 12-0 run at the end of the first. So we were feeling great watching this game. Knicks had a 7-0 run on second chance points, with the Celtics big men was struggling to stay out of foul trouble. Porzingis laid a floater in on Tatum. The Knicks missed 8 shots in a row near the end of the half as the Celtics went up 62-51 at the end of the first half. Celtics had 32 for 64 on the three-point line in games 3 and half of 4. Mitchell Robinson became a dark horse on the bench for the Knicks. Finally, for the Knicks, a bench guy rises up, as he had a lot of offensive rebounds keeping them in the game. Tatum did look great, having 20 points in that first half, but Cat broke through in the third quarter with 5 points under 2 minutes. Then the Tatum-White duo broke out with a Tatum steal and assist to make a nice swish highlight reel, but the Knicks started to build momentum, and it got worse as they had a 9-0 run with 7:30 left in the third. Tatum did have 3 steals off of Mikal Bridges' turnover. Cat had his 27th career double-double with 10 rebounds and 17 points coming, and his night wasn't over yet. While Tatum made it 79-71 Celtics lead, Bronson had back-to-back leads, and the game was tied at 83 apiece, and Tatum got tripped by Hart. And that's all he wrote, because Tatum's injury was so gruesome that we were all horrified looking at it, as social media went through the roof with that injury. As some Knicks fans, unfortunately, it doesn't represent Knicks fans, as the organization came out and Jalen Brunson was wishing Tatum best wishes. He did have emergency surgery 2 days ago, so get well soon, Jason Tatum. And the Celtics did end up losing this game, as 4 players on the Knicks had over 20 points. Brunson had 38, I believe. Cat had 27. You had Bridges stepping up and Robinson too, which was kind of scary if you really think about it, because the Celtics were down 3-1 without their ace. So, but this is what comebacks are made of. As we go to TD Garden for Game 5, as it was such a ruckus, I knew the Celtics were going to step up and shut those fans right up. I knew they were going to have a great bounce-back game last night. A lot of people didn't feel confident, but I was confident. I was watching a lot of this team in their West Coast trips when they shut down Kevin Durant in the second half against the Suns. And even though they played a Victor Wemby-less Spurs, they looked really good without some of these starters all year. As they won last night, 127-102. I kind of want to wrap this up. They did have a 28-point lead, was their largest, and they had 9 points in the paint. But here's a big thing for the Celtics, which wasn't there when Tatum was playing. They had 40 bench points last night, which had a big factor in their games, as thankfully they got their backups a chance to play, like Nikitas Quinta. And the guy who showed up the most last night, I said Drew Holiday was the X factor when I was talking with Ricky on the preview for the Celtics Knicks. It was not Porzingis, but Luke Cornett had a coming out party last night. He was phenomenal defensively. He didn't get to play a lot of this postseason, but boy, did he make the best of it. He had 7 blocks, shutting down Cat, shutting down Jalen Brunson. He still got his points, but Peyton Pritchard had 17 too. But Derek White erupted and took responsibility with Jaylen Brown to stick up for their friend Jason Tatum, as Brown had a historic double-double. He was 2 rebounds away from a triple-double. He had 12 assists and 26 points. Derek White looked amazing. He had 34 points last night, shooting 81% for his field goal percentage. That is amazing. He looked so good in the first half in Game 4 as well. As if these guys can step up, they have a comeback making in the century. If the Boston Red Sox in 2004 can come back to 3-0 against the damn Yankees, A-Rod and Derek Jeter in the game, this Celtics team, even without Tatum, can come back and overthrow the Knicks. To see how they look weeks from now, it's hard to see how they do against the Pacers, because the Pacers will look for revenge. It was a sweep that wasn't a sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, as every game was decided by less than 10 points. But Bronson did get his points. He got his 22 points. Mitchell Robinson did get a lot of rebounds offensively and defensive. He's became a dark horse for and a bench player, like their 6-man, like Pritchard for us. But you got Luke Cornett leading the team in rebounds. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday helped made plays as well, as he had a lot of rebounds. But all those guys didn't really steal a. But if it wasn't for Luke Cornett last night, they might have not blown out the Knicks, as you can't get too comfortable, as there's a critical do-or-die Game 6 tomorrow night. And here's Jaylen Brown did get his 26 points, Pritchard 17 off the bench, and Towns was held to finally under 20 points, and OG had a few threes. But Miles McBride did create plays for this Knicks team, as he has in Game 3 or 4. But my big part of how the Celtics are going to win this, and if they come back to force a Game 7 Monday night at TD Garden, they need their bench to step up, and they can easily force a Game 7 or win the series. They need to get in the faces of Cat and Brunson. Those guys are very tall. Porzingis needs to step up a lot better. This guy is very capable of going and doing layups and slam dunking. You need to try to get the Knicks in foul trouble the same way they took Jaylen Brown out of the game in Game 3 with his foul troubles that they had to bench him. Kind of like Pablo Banchero got into foul trouble Game 5, and it led the Celtics to blowing out the Magic and ending that series. That's going to be very critical. Get one of those big men for the Knicks to get in the foul trouble tomorrow night, and you'll get at least a Game 7 in Boston, perhaps to win the series. I don't know. I think they're going to lose tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong, because the Knicks should wrap this up if I were them. But let's hope they force a Game 7 and anything goes. If they get by this series, who knows what can happen. They'll have to go through Tyrese Haliburton and revenge from the Indiana Pacers. But the West looks real dominant, as the Oklahoma City Thunder, SGA, and Joe Chicks and the Denver Nuggets are in a dogfight, so maybe they'll beat each other up. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are way better than a 7th seed. I'm sure Glenn talked about it right before I went on the air. He had a Bold North breakdown right before my show tonight. But I am excited to see for Game 6 tomorrow. It's do or die, and I wish Crochet vs. Sale was either Saturday or Sunday, because I want to look at that in depth. But before we end our show tonight, I am going to nominate my 4 Player of the Quarter nominees and my Player of the Week for the Boston Celtics. Oh, I spoiled my Player of the Week. Oh, well. My Player of the Quarter nominees are Jason Tatum, for obvious reasons. Even though he got injured, he played a lot to qualify. Jaylen Brown, the second face of the franchise. Derek White stepping up when one of them's been injured all year. And my dark horse, believe it or not, is Peyton Pritchard. Even though he did struggle a little bit in the playoffs till last night, he's been a phenomenal 3-point bench shooter, winning the NBA 6th Player of the Year award. There is no one well-deserved by him. Player of the Quarter, Saturday, June 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Pacific for people in IE Sports Radio. Keep notes. You got Carl's Gill of the Revolution. You got David Pasternak of the Bruins, and either Tatum, Brown, Derek White, or Pritchard representing the Celtics, as polls will go this weekend. And We're going to have a Red Sox nominee, but it's going to be a tougher process to them. And now it's time for my BMAdawg Player of the Week to take things out tonight. Who is going to be my Player of the Week, folks? Ooh. It is, spoiler alert, a Celtic. As I decided this was the toughest Player of the Week between two individuals, I had to decide. I had to go with my man, Jaylen Brown. He hasn't won it all year. It's kind of like Morgan Geekie of the Bruins. This man is way overdue for a Player of the Week award. He's bounced back with a double-double last night. Derek White was phenomenal in Game 4 and 3. Both these guys had a cold parts in Games 3 and 4, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to give this great award to Jaylen Brown as we are done for tonight, folks, as Jaylen Brown gets his first ever Play of the Week. And don't forget, Saturday, June 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, my Play of the Quarter special. It's going to kick ass. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be nothing the world and podcast has ever seen before. I guarantee that, folks. And that's all we have for tonight. That's all we have for tonight, folks, as it is sorry there's a little technical difficulties with my video right now, as we are going to sign off for tonight. BMAdawg signing off. Next week we got BC Women's Lacrosse Game 2. Hopefully BU does well. We got the Red Sox series against the Braves and the Mets. Can they step up against the best of the NL East? And we got Jaylen Brown winning Play of the Week. Can the Celtics, we have at least one more episode left of a Celtics recap. Let's hope it's more than one game. Let's hope we have a miracle and preview for the Eastern Conference Finals against the Indiana Pacers. Let's hope miracles happen, folks. This is BMAdawg, host of the 12th episode of the Beantown Sports Town. Happy 11th anniversary, IE Sports Radio. BMAdawg signing off.